If you are a B2B service-based business owner and you are looking to gain more clients, create more impact and more revenue in your business, tune in to Amplify Your Marketing Message with Christine Campbell-Rappin. Every week, we're going to take you through how to build an audience of buyers, mastering your marketing message, and making offers that convert consistently. We'll see you all on the inside. Welcome back, everybody. You know that you've heard this from me probably about 1,010,000 times, that business is elegantly simple and clarity is the ultimate accelerator. And that's why I'm super excited to introduce our guest today on Amplify Your Marketing Message, because we're talking about how the key to client growth can be found in less than 10 words. Please give a very warm welcome to my friend, Mitchell Levy. Super excited to have you here. He is a big guy. You know, he's done amazing things in the world of speaking, books, and leadership. And I'm thrilled that he said, I'd like to come play together. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Oh, it is great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you are absolutely more than welcome to come and play anytime. So I want to talk about this. You have a unique perspective on brevity and how it is simple. Let's start you there. Tell us why it's simpler than we think.
If you are a credible human, or if you have a credible company, you are of service to others. That's pretty simple. So what you want to ask yourself is, who do you serve? And then from their perspective, what is their pain point and what is their pleasure point? What's interesting is that is 100% of the formula for what I call the CPOP, your customer point of possibilities. And if you can articulate in less than 10 words the who and the what, your CPOP, the who you serve and how, what it is that they're focused on, that represents so many things for you. But at the bottom line, it's simplicity. It's simplicity of who you are. It's simplicity of how your employees are going to be engaging with those that you serve. It's simplicity in terms of picking up referral partners. And it gives you this compass in which you can make better decisions. As you're making decisions that are in aligned with your compass, you're demonstrating behavior that's in alignment with your compass. Guess what? You now have internal and external integrity. So what I'm going to say is, and this is as easy as this may sound, I could tell you with 100% certainty that even with the formula in hand, there's so many marketing cookie cutter approaches out there. 98% of people will take the formula and still come up with a marketing answer of the who and the what of their CPOP. And so what I would say is it is really simple. It's just not easy.
Absolutely. And that's something I think is true. It is simple, but it is not effortless. And I love how you talk about the moment of possibility, and we talk about trust, and we talk about congruency in that formula, because your business is going to be built on strangers. Your ability to influence yourself, your peers, your clients, your vendors, all towards a result is how you dominate big ripples of change, and you lead to expansion. And I think a lot of people, like you and I, have very global businesses, and global businesses are a different animal. And some people think, how do you start to be credible globally? And why does that matter? Because the power of you and what you do didn't just stay in a geographic world. Talk to us about that.
So you have a choice on your who and the what. What I'm going to say is many people will tell you the formula is to be wide, right? The wider the net you could cast, the more fish you're going to pick up. That is opposite of being the truth. The more narrow of the net you could cast, that doesn't mean you're not going global. What that means, you're being very focused on the who you actually serve, because we've been taught to do otherwise. What happens, the more narrow you are, the more clarity you have in being able to articulate who you serve, basically the playground that you play in.
Mhm.
The easier it is for the person to understand it, the easier it is for you to be given incremental credibility as you talk from the brevity of the playground that you've defined for them. It
Mhm.
is remarkable.
I always think of it as an intersection point. And this is where I think the word niching, fusion, people think about niching as one dimensional. And I said, no, I want you to find the intersection point. And an intersection point by its very nature is round. It has a lot of multifacets, but you get to choose where you play. You get to choose right in the moment when you bump into your next buyer. And you do get to choose this. And a great way to ask yourself is, do I have real clarity? Is to ask somebody with zero expectations, tell me what it is you think I do, and tell me it in your own words.
Mm.
Many people will be able to regurgitate, I think you're about finding purpose. I think you're about transformation. And then the question I'm always asking is, what the hell does that mean? So
I love that.
truthfully, what does that mean? It's so important to say, tell me what you think I do, because you mentioned referrals, and this is a really interesting piece. I always tell people candidly, I have a really big network and I love personally to connect people. It's just a way I like to be a great human being. I think that's, it's hard enough on our journey. We need support and guidance. We need connections that happen through divine intervention. But truthfully, if I've never referred you, it's because I have no idea what you do. And you may have told me this 100 times, and usually in more than 10 words. And I'm still going, I still don't know what you do. And I will tell you that will kill your business. It means that the right people can't find you at that intersection point and can't recognize you as somebody who can serve. And you talked about
Mm.
service when you started, and I love that. And it is about an evolution. We don't start with clarity because we put it in our calendar at Tuesday at 2 o'clock. I'm going to Starbucks with a journal and figure this out. It takes a much bigger process than that. And I think leadership is key. So in your world and in the work you do, what are you observing in the world of clarity, in the world of credibility, in the world of leadership? How do we start? Where do we go? How do we start to really see the impact? Because I love the theory. Tell me how I make my first
Oh,
step.
so I'll give you a very practical example. So I actually interviewed 500 thought leaders on credibility between 2019 and 2020. You would assume because I interviewed these thought leaders on credibility that I should be selling credibility in the marketplace. That was my assumption. By the way, my wife was right. She said, honey, do you realize that all business professionals consider themselves credible? I was trying to prove her wrong, but she was right. So I
I
now
love
listen
it.
to my wife more.
Props to the
What
wife.
was absolutely, it was about 9 months ago that somebody was sitting to me, by the way, another female, good friend who was looking at business models. And I realized that clarity comes before credibility. So if you look at anyone who's trying to sell you how to do something, what they're going to be talking about first is building your credibility. And they never work with you on your clarity. Credibility is step number 2. Clarity is step number 1. And for me, one of the things that I'm amazingly good at is I could sit with any CEO, any company, and if they're really talking from their hearts, I can give them something less than 10 words. Now, these are smart people who have made anywhere between millions to multi-millions or billions of dollars, and they still don't have, in less than 10 words, the clarity. And all of a sudden, what happens is things just start clicking into place because it is so simple. When you could do nothing more than articulate the playground you play in, it ends up leading towards higher employee engagement. Listen, tell your employees you have the ability to do whatever you want, but this is the playground you play in. So when you step out the playgrounds, you're going to know. So it is absolutely today the missing element in leadership, the missing element in most of our businesses is the simplicity of clarity.
And I think clarity is magnetic, and it's an interesting one. So many people, my business is actually called Clear Acceleration, which is part of a very serendipitous moment, because I say to people, if you can get clear, you will run. And when people want to, that is pure a client or just as someone who's another human connecting to you, what they say is, I love your clarity, because clarity is something we do really, it's like a tuning fork of the human race. It's like, I love your clarity. Whether I am 100% in alignment with your truth or not is not the point, but the clarity I admire. And I love that you talk about, we can't often see it ourselves, but when we work with great people, mentors like you, guides like me, who say, let's help you get the clarity, because from clarity, you start to build confidence, you start to build capability, you start to build strength, and momentum builds from it. I'm curious, what do you think needs to be in the 10 words?
Oh, it's actually, it's surprisingly, so because I did the 500 person research and I've now deployed this CPOP, the customer point of possibility concept, over 1,000 times, I am happy to give away the formula, because unfortunately, two things happen. If I give you the formula, 98% will still have marketing cookie cutter stuff in it.
Yeah.
If I work with you, and so if you're one of the 1,000, 90% will forget it between 2 hours and 2 weeks. The reason
those
they
are true
forget
stats
it,
in every kind of learning.
well, the reason they forget it is they don't have someone like you on their side as a guide, right? Because you have to step out of the standard marketing cookie cutter BS that you're being taught by everybody else. And you have to truly live in the playground you play in, the frequency in which your body resonates. So what goes in these 10 words, it starts with who. You never start with I serve, I help, I do. It's who. Who is the audience? So right now I have a very narrow focus. The niche, and by the way, I never thought I would do this, but when I realized I had to deploy clarity and I had to do it in a vertical that was just so easy to demonstrate an ROI on, the vertical happens to be coaches. And there's so many different reasons why, but we'll just say the ICF, the International Coaching Federation, who does a biannual survey, has said there are over 100,000 executive coaches in the US with an average salary of $50,000.
Yeah.
So it's easy to show an ROI. So for me, my CPOP happens to be 8 words long. So it's the who. My who is just simply one word, coaches. But when I say the rest, you're going to go, if you're a prospect, you're going to go, you're going to shudder, because that's really what it does. If you're a referral partner, you're going to go, in 8 words, you're going to go, oh, I think I get it. And then the next natural question is, tell me more. What I would do then is give you a minute. But if I talk to you about the tell me more within the playground that I play in, that level of clarity gives me incremental credibility. The same thing happens to those I work with. So my CPOP, coaches who've created a job, not a business.
So powerful. And I loved, because this is just so synchronicity, and that's why I think it's so fun to play together, is your goal is movement. Your goal is tell me more. And I think sometimes when we get lost in the world of marketing, and it's because we get lost in a tactic, right? We get really, and the shininess always comes from another tactic will solve the miracle. And I said, great messaging is important, but if you have a bad business model, it doesn't matter what the messaging is. It's lipstick on a pig. It is not going to be super helpful. But the goal of great strategy, and you've talked about the who, the playing field, how are we going to win, and what do we need to do so? Like, those are the 4 questions of strategy, which is essential in order to see continuous momentum and to see this really amplifying effect of your business and right people coming to you saying, I need that. You're the must hire. How do I work with you? Is movement. Because truthfully, your goal is movement. Your goal is to say, you're the right room. I want to know more. And I'm incentivized to lean in. And the lean in is really powerful. And leaning in, I think, sometimes comes to this place of when we're in the business and we've created a job, particularly as for your CPOP, we've created a job, we think that the answer is going to be innovation. And I will tell people all the time, I do want you to innovate, but I also want you to be clear that a business runs, and a business is sustainably, profitably in business for more than a nanosecond when it has something that it runs over and 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 over again. That's the key to business. It's not innovating every 2 seconds unless you're a fashion designer who's got a new collection coming out every season. But talk to me about innovation and the role of innovation, and particularly the role of innovating as a to be a business owner, maybe a coach who's really looking to get out of the job they've created for themselves.
You know, what I love in terms of listening to you is I could feel the energy of how you show up in the world, and your language gets at the same points, but are using different words and different approaches. And I'm like, I'm going to have to re-listen to this maybe 1 or 2 times, because I'm loving the models that you're fundamentally building into the conversation. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
That, by the way, is the answer. If you know the playground you play in and you know the audience you serve, you need to always be coachable. Mm-hmm. And being coachable means that you're talking to your clients, you're talking to your prospects, you're talking to your referral partners, and you hear something that says, there's a need in this area. Now you ask yourself, hey, does my business solve that need today, or do I need to innovate? And it's as simple as, if you are a servant leader, if you are of service to others, you're going to be continually serving either the existing audience, or when it's time. For me, what I do is I see a problem, I solve it at least twice. Once I solved it twice, I then put documentation around it, I hire people, and then I move on to the next area. What I try to do, if I did 2 of those or 3 of those, how do I tie them all together? Innovation is simply doing a better job. And sometimes, and this is what leaders have a hard time doing it, sometimes it means getting rid of the old, your cash cow, while you're building the new. And just trust me, if you don't do it, a competitor is going to. So continually be of service to your audience with better products, better services, potentially better prices, and your clients will continue to come to you.
I love it, because what I hear in that is, don't be stagnant. And it is important to make the choice to lead. And I always think people, why I love entrepreneurs and why I am an entrepreneur is that entrepreneurship is a choice about leadership. I mean, in case you didn't know, with the moment you decided to be in business, you made 2 fundamental decisions. 1 was to be a leader, and 2 was to help other people, because business is about staff, people, yourself, employment, resources, and ripples. And it changes everything. And yet, when we do that, people are saying, I don't know how to lead. And what I hear, and I think this is magic, is connections. It's, you've got to be aware of the connecting tissues. You've got to realize that there's new and evolving needs, and you've got to be the one to see it and take a decision, and that's leadership. And when you make the decision, that does mean you have always got to solve for capacity. And I say to people, capacity is a solvable problem. I'd rather solve it intentionally than to be reacting to a crisis. Well, I'm good in a fire. It's just not my natural way to set myself on fire. I don't love it. But I love that you talk about this as new connections and encouraging people and inviting people to say that sometimes that means you trim a significant branch to find capacity for new connections to add value.
Christine, can I add? Sure. Can I add something? Would you mind? So what was interesting is this last weekend was the 50th anniversary of the internet. So I was invited to groups. There were groups of maybe 100 people in a room of the best and brightest of the past. So Vint Cerf, the inventor of TCP/IP. And what was interesting is the CEOs that were there as well were the next evolution, the people will talk about 20, 30 years from now.
Very cool.
And so I the day before, I was there and I shared my CPOP, and then all of a sudden I realized, hey, I'm not in a room of referral partners or in a room of coaches. I'm like, I'm going to do a different CPOP the next day. And truthfully, I didn't come up with the formula of the CPOP, but this is what I said. I basically said, I'm an executive coach to CEOs of companies between 5 and 100 million, and an executive coach to other executive coaches. And all of a sudden, and this is the important part, because you said the word movement. I could see in the eyes, in the faces of the people I'm talking to, that they wanted them to tell me more. Either they were the CEO of that company and they say, well, maybe I could use you, let's talk. Or they would say, you must be good if you're an executive coach, if you feel good about yourself, then yeah, I am. But what I then would do is follow through with giving them clarity And within 5 or 10 minutes, I've closed an opportunity to build enough trust to continue the conversation.
I love that, because that's when I say it's when the sizzle happens. And that's what we're looking for. You know, when we are looking to amplify and we're looking to be sparks, you have to see it, you have to intentionally create it, and you have to lead it. It has been absolutely fun to have you with our program. I want to know, because I ask all of my guests this, what's working for you right now in the business world to create your next client opportunity and your next place to create big ripples of change?
You know, it really is the focus that I'm living in clarity, and I don't know all the answers. So as being credible, part of what I'm doing is being vulnerable. And so a lot of the clients that are coming online, when they say, hey, can you solve this? I said, I don't know, but I know I have formulas and approaches. And if you want to work on this together, we can co-create a solution. Right. And so it's actually acting in the way that is being a credible human, having people trust, know, and like you, and having those companies that you're working with truly say, hey, I see that you have my best interest in mind. Let's go after this together. When we co-create a solution, you do it once or twice. Now you got a new product.
I absolutely love that. I love that this is creation, because one of the things, you know, I said the show attracts creators. Nice that foundations are how you create white space. It is not what stifles white space, because when you have certainty, you have leadership, you have innovation, you have this global view, and you know where the intersection point is, it pops, it sizzles, and you say, what could we create? And it never gets old. And your business, truthfully, my friends, it should feel like oxygen to you. And I hope it does, because Mitchell, it sounds like yours is in great momentum. How do people find you and know more about what you do?
You know, the best way is on my website. So it's mitchelllevy.com. It's 3 L's in there. So MITCHELLLEVY. You could see a high-level view of all the programs are running, decide to participate in one, or if you decide you wanted to put time on my calendar, just do that. And there's a direct link to book time on the calendar. And I look forward to it.
I love it, guys. Please go connect to this amazing individual, and we are going to invite you and challenge you to find your key to growth in 10 words or less. So reach out, tell us what it is, and we'll give you great feedback, and we'll say it's time, the key to success. I love it. He's got it in his hands. Thank you for being our guest today, Mitchell Levy. It is an absolute pleasure to have you in my network. Everyone, we will see you all on our next episode. Until then, go get the clarity. It comes before your confidence. We'll see you on the inside. That's a wrap on another amazing episode of Amplify Your Marketing Message with me, your host, Christine Campbell-Rappin. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss another great episode. And be sure to visit christinecampbellrappin.com/podcast to get a free resource on how to master your marketing message. We'll see you all on our next episode.